All right, so when I was applying to my first full-time job, I sent out a total of 367 cold emails, received 21 first-round interviews, and ended up with 5 full-time job offers. But what those numbers do not show is that most of those interviews only came after I started doing 2 things. First, networking my butt off with alumni, recruiters, and hiring managers, and second, editing my resume based on their feedback. So in this video, I'll first share the 5 biggest resume mistakes I made back in the day, then go through the changes that landed me all those first round interviews. Let's get started. Hi friends, welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, my name is Jeff. Come for the career tips and stay for the painfully accurate job search memes. Mistake number 1. Putting the education section above the work experience section. While I am still extremely proud of my GPA and SAT score, recruiters and hiring managers know that any sort of work experience, including internships and extracurricular activities, translate much better to on-the-job performance. And this is because when written correctly, the bullet points on your resume help them visualize your ability to do the job they're hiring for. Let's imagine a hiring manager starts to scan down my bad resume. She sees my GPA, the classes that I took, my high school honor roll, realizes none of that is relevant, just wasted 30 seconds of her life, and she moves on to the next applicant. Now, imagine she opens up a resume and sees immediately I've worked on finance transformation and supply chain projects. She thinks, okay, this candidate has some industry knowledge and can probably present to clients. He actually might be a good fit for this project we're currently short-staffed on. And she reads on. Even if I only had my first summer internship available, she would know at least I have worked in a finance department before and I have basic Excel skills. Oh, and I probably should have mentioned this sooner, but I've linked the PDF versions of the 2 resumes for free down below, so feel free to reference them when updating your own resume. Mistake number 2, not showing impact. If you take a quick look at my original KPMG example, assisted with project governance, presented to a banking client, helped with project research, you'll notice something awkward. I use all these fancy, overcomplicated words, but you still don't know the implication of those actions. Compare this with the updated version of the same bullet point. Even though I start off basically the same way, you can clearly see the result of my contributions. The banking client successfully opened a branch in the local market. This is the difference between just saying fluffy buzzwords and actually showing impact. I can't stress this enough. And hey, don't just take my word for it. Big name career coaches like Austin Belsack and Adam Broda reiterate this all the time. You need to communicate what you accomplished. And even Ali Abdaal, someone we don't normally associate with being professional or businessy, right? He says,
So this is a bunch of buzzwords and that is not substantiated by anything at all.
And at this point, many of you might fall into the trap of mistake number 3, failing to include meaningful metrics. And the reason I know is from all the comments in my original resume video. This one sums up what many of you might be thinking. How do you show metrics when you're new or you don't have impressive metrics from your internship? Or this one, how do I quantify work achievements? I'm at a startup where data points are not established yet, not sure how to state metrics while staying authentic. And the short answer is that recruiters and hiring managers care much more about the effort you put into quantifying your impact rather than the actual numbers themselves. For example, when I applied to my first ever internship, I literally wrote, my presentation scored 23% higher than the class average. That seems insignificant, right? Yes, but it also shows I knew the success metric of the presentation, the score, and I took the extra step to benchmark my performance to that of my peers. Pro tip, a foolproof way to quantify your impact is to keep asking yourself, so what? Taking my SAT tutoring experience as an example, I might have started off with, taught SAT during my summer break in college. Okay, so what? The average increase in my students' SAT scores was 280 points. So what? 7 out of the 8 seniors got accepted into their first choice colleges. Impact. To really drive this point home, because it's so important, here's an extreme example. It's much better to write, delivered on average 9 coffees a day with 100% accuracy on all orders for 3 months. Then, I fetched coffee for senior associates during my summer internship. Mistake number 4 is a tough one for me to admit because I remember being very defensive when I got this feedback, and that is not tailoring my resume for each job application. I mean, back then I applied to over 50 jobs and I was lazy. I wasn't gonna create 50 versions of the same resume. But the present, more mature me would tell you two things. First, the workload isn't that bad if you focus your attention on 3 to 5 roles, which you should be doing anyways because the apply to everything approach doesn't work well in today's job market. So why not invest more time in the quality of your application rather than the quantity? Second, for a similar set of roles, you can copy and paste those job descriptions into a word cloud generator to easily identify relevant skills the recruiter might be looking for and add those keywords into your resume. This is a very easy way to tailor your resume for different roles, and I go through step-by-step instructions in my original resume video, so I'll link that down below. Pro tip, this is the biggest difference between your LinkedIn profile and your resume. Your LinkedIn should give a more general overview of who you are professionally and shouldn't change all that much, whereas your resume should be more hyper-targeted for each application. Mistake number 5 is overlooking the small things, and to show you what I mean, take a look at this part of my original resume. Pause the video and see if you can spot the mistake. These 2 hyphens are formatted differently. Did you notice? Some of you might already be rolling your eyes right now, but believe me when I tell you, first impressions matter. And while perfect formatting won't guarantee you the interview, easily avoidable errors like this can be a red flag. Again, don't just take my word for it or the word of those corporate LinkedIn career gurus. Here's Ali Abdaal again.
Bunch of spelling and grammar issues there. Like, this is really obvious stuff.
So whether you're applying for a role in a traditional corporation or a fun and chill startup, small things matter. That's what he said. Nope, that was inappropriate. Sorry about that. A simple way to catch these mistakes is to send your resume to 10 people you know and get their feedback. Or at the very least, use a tool like Grammarly or even autocorrect in Google Docs. All right, once you've updated that resume, make sure to check out this video on how to write an effective cover letter to maximize your chances for a first round interview. See you in the next video. In the meantime, have a great one.